You want to know what blows my mind? That song is 40 years old. Holy crap. Sorry, seems like yesterday it was just on the radio. I guess that makes me older than 40. All righty, so a little Blondie to guess. Heading into the weekend. Apparently everybody else decided the weekend already started. But the 20 most important people in my world are on this call. Ah, take that, people who come in late. All righty, so let's kick off our Friday afternoon fun with little fun photos.
From Alton, Illinois says, my husband and I drove past this sign and we had to go back to get this picture. And here it is. Good news for God's people, Reverend Bangs guest speaker. See, where I go to church, they just shake the hands. I don't know. That's a good one, Rebecca. So thanks for sending that in. Emily Howell in Dixon, Illinois. I'm not sure what my son Will was doing when he was playing with this flashlight. Well, he's either going to grow up to be a vet or an airport security screener. One of the two. Angela Cowan in Sacramento, California. My son is 3 and is really into dressing up. I left him to his own devices for 2 minutes, and he went upstairs and put on this outfit. There's a lot of stuff going on. You should be happy he didn't find the handcuffs in the whip, so.
All righty, thank you so much, Ellen. So if you're at church this weekend and Reverend Bangs is your guest preacher, please do let me know on Monday how that went. I'm curious. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. So there you have that. All righty, it is Friday afternoon, which means the lovely and talented Ms. Tammy Kranich has a tidbit for us. Tammy, take it away.
Hello, everyone. So today, two things. I want to give a shout out to the 22 new families that I have helped this month get into homes. So it's been my best month in a very long time. So I'm super excited about the 22 new homeowners as of today. And I have a lot of you to thank for that as well. And also, I want to talk about PMI. It's like a topic near and dear to my heart because it's one of those things we always want to avoid. I was talking to a borrower today who has been in an FHA loan for 5 years. And I was like, wait a minute, are you paying mortgage insurance? Anyway, long story short, I'm going to be able to save them like $300 a month. So here are some things I want you guys to think about when you're out and about this weekend. If you have buyers who put down less than 5% or less in the last 2 or 3 years, check in with them, and they might be someone who could refinance. If they are an FHA person, they might be someone who can completely get out of an FHA loan. So they would love for you to be their hero and save them some big money. So that's my Mortgage Minute for today. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Tammy. Always appreciated. And Steve Scott, I think you have some shift winners for us, do you not?
I do. We have 2 big winners today. We have Janine Schlurf and Marcel Sahosi. So come and get your books, guys. Good reading.
Woo!
Yeah.
Way to go, Janine and Marcel. Use it well. I'm going to tell you what, those books that seem like, you know, that there's just a never-ending supply of them, almost every time I plug into a mastermind lately, somebody's talking about some certain page or reference in that shift book, right? And so it's, I mean, if you're plugging into James Shaw every morning at 8 o'clock, clearly that's the whole point of that 8 o'clock mastermind. But even outside of James Shaw, so many people are referencing, oh yeah, that's like page 46 and 47. We have to focus on that. That's page 292. We got to focus on that, right? So know that there are some really fantastic nuggets in there that we're going to challenge you to keep finding and bringing back into your businesses and bringing back to us to share. So thank you for those shift winners. A couple of quick announcements for you. I think it's taken me a while, but I think I have finally cracked the PPP forgiveness application. So those of you who don't have the forgiveness application or are interested in understanding what you need to be tracking and how you need to be filling out this application about a month or a smidge from now in order to be considered for that forgiveness, do tune in. I'm going to add a class. Adonis, if you could just do me a favor and make a note that we're going to add a class for next week, and you and I will figure out the best day to put it on to help you go through your PPP. Any of you who receive PPP, we're going to start with independent contractor, like sole proprietor PPP, and then any of you who have employees as well, we'll let everybody else kind of off the call, and then we'll work with just the people who have employees, because if you have employees, it's slightly different and slightly more complicated. So what we're going to do is put that on the schedule for you next week so that you're ready. These applications aren't due for another 30 or 45 days or so, and yet I want you to be ready and know that you're doing the right things and tracking the right information so that you have the best shot at forgiveness. So we will do that for you next week. It is a complicated process. I don't know if anyone else has started to go through the forgiveness application. Oh my God. Yeah. Paul, are you like drinking heavy because of it? Because holy Christmas.
It's brutal, but I've got my attorney working on it. So there you go.
Oh, good. Well, maybe we'll have you on our call next week in case I screw something up.
Yeah, the compliance attorney told me there's only 43 categories of things I got to watch for.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's pretty much it. All 43 are simple, but there are 43 categories for you to be monitoring. So so watch for that. I also, a couple of nights ago, I issued you a challenge or suggested an exercise, if you remember. Anybody know what that exercise was? Good, somebody can tell us. People are tired of listening to me. You talk. What was it? So maybe you don't know as much as you think you know. All right, so I asked you to take a look at what your income was for last year, add a 0 on the end, and then start to really think through and start writing strategically what it might take, what it would look like, what your life and your business would need to look like in order to hit that new number. So when I say things like that, it's because I either hear about them and think they're really cool to share, or come up with it midstream and think, maybe I should do that. And so I went home the last 2 days and I did that exercise. It is an interesting exercise. And so what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to, if you didn't do that exercise, work on that this weekend. Because the things that I'm coming up with not only start to point in a direction of bigger and better, but they start to focus my brain on what things I have to be focused on right now, right? They create clarity for the now by projecting into the future. So I want you to do that exercise, and on Monday morning, part of what we will do Monday morning at 9 is I'll ask for a couple of ahas from that exercise so that we can talk about it a little bit and get you focused on what that looks like to 10x your world. Don't get hung up on the possibility or impossibility of it, and don't get hung up on, well, there's no way I could possibly do all these different things. I mean, I'll give you an idea. Part of mine are open 3 more market centers, purchase 13 more properties, double my profit share, add 10 more private coaching clients, write my first book. I mean, these are not things that are going to happen by July 15th, right? And yet by writing it all down and strategically figuring out how that fits into 10xing my world, I'm aware of it. and I'm going to start figuring out what piece of that has what action step for each piece of that thing, the things I wrote down, I can start working on. You see how it works? You promise to do it? Raise your right hand. I say my name. Promise to look at this over the weekend and come back on Monday morning with some ahas. All right, and I will share my ahas with you as well. There's that. Any comments, questions, concerns about anything that's going on in your world that we should deal with before we finish up? Because I have one more thing I want to just address with you before we finish. But let's take your questions first. Anybody having a struggle? Anybody having a big success? Alice?
As it relates to unemployment,
Yes.
do we still keep filing even though the office is open now?
So again, a great question. I asked again today for CTR's help and guidance on that, because I don't have an answer for you. Here's what I can say. I can say that when most of you applied, you chose the fact that your place of employment, the office itself, was closed as the reason to move forward with that, right? And so if the office is now reopened, that may now be an opportunity for you to say, okay, well, now I have an opportunity to go back to work. I'm not sure, for some of you who were never in the office anyway, right? You don't lease space and you're not there on a daily basis anyway. I'm not sure that that's the trigger. I want to be fair to you, and I want to be fair to the Department of Labor, but mostly I want to make sure that the guidance that you hear from me doesn't get you in trouble, right? And so I know every time you ask me that, you'd like me to have an answer, and I don't yet have one because I haven't received one from someone who actually has a horse in that race to give us specifics. I want to make sure that the answer you get doesn't put you in harm's way in terms of any kind of audits. So hopefully that's as good, that's enough of an answer for now. And so if you do plan on not continuing, if you go to File CTUI, if you've made the decision that for you, you're not going to file claims any longer, if you go to filectui.com and scroll to the bottom where all those blue links are, one of the links is, I could show you real quick if that would be helpful. One of the links is so if you go to filectui.com and scroll to the bottom here underneath all the buttons, one of the links is Return to Work, if you see right there. And when you click on Return to Work, you just fill out some information here, then you give your Return to Work information and submit that. And so I believe that's how you process a Return to Work. If you just stop filing the claim a week or two in, I think they get the hint, but this is a more specific answer to that question, I believe, if that's helpful. Does that answer that?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, sure thing. Any other questions? Paul? No? Okay. Adonis, is there something we need to know about? Oh, I thought you were perhaps holding up a stagecoach or something.
No, we're fine.
Okay, good. Got it. So I will say that that today, at least where I am in the Ridgefield Market Center, boy, I think we were up to like 13 people here this afternoon at one point. It was so nice to see so many of you, and at the same time, I started to panic. I'm like, oh my God, we're bumping up against that 15 number. We may have to start sending people home. So the good news is that didn't happen, and yet it was so great to feel the energy in the office. So if there's no other questions, the last thing I wanted to just work through with you real quick today was something that I think I started on yesterday, but I wanted to finish today. And it was what Gary in our mastermind on Wednesday had written on his whiteboard He never said it. We never really talked specifically about what he had written, but on his whiteboard behind him, he had written these words: control the space you occupy. With a colon, run disruptive plays. Control the space you occupy, run disruptive plays. And so what I wanted to just kind of finish up today with was a comment or conversation around that idea. Are you showing up every day looking to control the space that you occupy? What does that look like for you? What does that mean in your world? What does that look like in your business to control the space that you occupy? Why is running disruptive plays part of that whole idea? Do you see when you start running disruptive plays, not just the run-of-the-mill plays that everybody knows? When you start running disruptive plays, not only do you create more control of the space that you occupy, you grow the space that you occupy as well. And so now you have control over a larger space, right? So it's about taking territory. It's about capturing market share. It's about you making sure that you show up in your space, ready to fight and work hard every single day by running plays that maybe nobody's run before. Being first in doing something can be scary, can also be awesome, right? So I would encourage you, if as things start to continually reopen, if people seem to start bouncing back into their old ways, I would encourage you to stay focused on the new things that you've learned, to stay focused on the ways, the efficiencies that you have uncovered in the last 9.5, 10 weeks, and don't let go of them. And don't let peer pressure or any kind of pressure from the outside have you take a different stand on that. Because by you continuing to run those disruptive plays, by you continuing to utilize technology and Zoom to have conversations, to have consultations, to have listing appointments and buyer consults, those are still disruptive. And the more disruptive you are, the more control you have over the space and the bigger the space that you occupy becomes. See how all that kind of ties together? I don't know what it is about what Gary Keller writes on a board. I'm thinking they're just words, but when I read them, I can't get them out of my brain. And it starts me thinking about it like a bazillion different things. And so I hope that what I'm able to provide for you is that same opportunity by delivering those words to you, it's like an earworm, like a song you can't stop thinking about, right? Because you heard it once, and now you hear it for 3 days. I want you to think about this stuff as business owners. I want you to look at what the opportunities are and make some judgment calls. Look at your last week of work and ask yourself the question, did I run any disruptive plays? And if so, what were they? Did I now write them in the playbook so I can run something disruptive again? Or are you running plays that if you played a top team who watches your video before they play you, would they wipe the field with you because they already know your plays? They already know what you're going to run before you even run them, because you're always running the same old stuff, right? I think our biggest challenge and our biggest opportunity as we emerge and start and hit June on Monday is to recognize that the world is ours if we want it. The world is ours if we want it. And so I would encourage you, spend this weekend spending some time on deciding what you want. What do you want your world to look like? What market share do you want to capture? How many people do you want to assist? How much money do you want to make? What do you want your world to look like? And let's show up on Monday and hit that as hard as we possibly can for the next 90 days so that on September 1st, we can have a conversation that starts with, holy crap, do you see what we just did? Because that would be a fun way to start the fall, don't you think? All right, guys, as always, it is my pleasure to spend time with you. Thank you so much for your time, attention, and talent. Have a great weekend. Don't forget your exercise to do over the weekend. And we'll see you back here on Monday morning, bright and early at 9 a.m. Take care. Love you lots.